With Kyle finally learning the capabilities of the White Lantern's powers, will he learn to control it? Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and we break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read it automatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. This is our final tale of Kyle leading us to the event of Godhead. I hope you guys enjoy, and if you want to follow all of our Green Lantern mythos, make sure you click the playlist now. We've got them in the proper order finally. Recently, one of the Guardians left Kyle, Carol, and the new Guardians. Quaros went on his own adventure to discover the meaning of life itself. And right now he's on a planet telling a poor alien to be quiet before they get abducted. He's here watching billions of aliens get abducted directly from their homes. And he charges at the ship shouting, "I will not allow this!" So the ship above moves every one of its beams to him, and even he can't stop it anymore. It begins to pull him to the ship. "Show yourself, makers! Show me what you are!" he shouts as they pull him helplessly into the ship. "Yes, we will show you." The rest of the new Guardians arrive on this world much later to try and get their clues. Carol wants to help them, but she's telling them Kyle is missing also. Why aren't they looking for him as well? And one of the Guardians tell her, Kyle is powerful enough to defend himself. If he's in trouble, they would feel it. So the Guardians use their powers to link with their brother and try to get answers as to his whereabouts, and they're immediately blown back by his psychic energies. They can tell that he is suffering. Quaros is strapped to a machine, one that is literally tearing him limb from limb. The new Guardians and Carol go to the location of the Maker's ship, and without even considering a plan, they go directly inside with Carol telling them this is a very bad idea. Being desperate is making them dumb. Inside, they find creatures that are altered, their bloody limbs lying on the ground, and they can tell that these beings have the molecular coherence that they saw in Zal the goddess. They go deeper and they find more mutilated aliens, still alive, asking for help, and creatures attached to machines. The Guardians begin to panic. These beings cannot be allowed to mutilate a Guardian of the universe. One of the altered creatures begins to close up around them, trapping the Guardians, and Carol begins to panic herself. She knew this was a bad idea. The poor creature is apologizing. She can't help it. They did this to her. Then a bright white light appears next to her, and Kyle appears out of nowhere. I missed you too. Kyle! So what the hell is going on, and what the hell is that? Carol asks Kyle what happened to him after Arizona when he fought Oblivion, and he tells her, after Arizona, when I destroyed Oblivion, by doing whatever it is I did, I woke up on a living planet that had gone insane, and I revived it, and then I had to kill it again, and it really wasn't fun for me, and then I tried to find you, and now this. Carol just stares at him. Are you gonna slap me or something? Anything, Carol? And then she jumps on him, giving him another passionate kiss. That's better than slapping. They get to work flying deeper into the ship, and Kyle pushes out the power of life to see what they're dealing with, but it confuses him because he's reading everything and nothing at the same time. Meanwhile, the Guardians are being tortured and attached to machines, drained of their life force, and Zala shouts with blood spewing out of her mouth, "We will destroy you!" But another Guardian tells them, enough is enough. But it isn't. The High has looked and seen that you have forgotten. We have not. We have only done what you would have us do. We have learned. We have only done as asked. We have made ourselves better. Don't touch me! What are you doing? Why are you doing this? The Guardian asks, the creature known as a Maker. To become better. We are many, but we each walk a path of perfection together to become worthy of you, our creators. The Templar Guardians all look in shock. Carol and Kyle rocket through the ship looking at the Maker's experiments in horror. Creatures torn apart, creatures combined together, creatures turned into nothing but hands or nothing but heads with eyeballs. Carol freaks out on the cells. No, 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 no! But back with the Makers and the Guardians, he refuses to believe that they could have created these creatures. The Makers tell their tale. They were aliens, unintelligent aliens, until the Guardians arrived and experimented on them. They changed them. They made them what they are now. But once the Guardians left them alone, they felt abandoned, and they knew what they needed to do. It was a test to check their worthiness, to complete what the Guardians had started. The Makers then traveled around the galaxy, continuing the Guardians' work in hopes of becoming worthy. Over with Carol and Kyle, they continue to fly through the ship looking for the Makers, and eventually, they find Quaros, the lost Guardian, strapped to the ceiling, machines hooked into every part of his body, and his brain removed. Red rage begins to flare up in Kyle, but he calms down. This is what they wanted. They wanted us to see this. This is it! Do you hear me? The experiments end! Then one of the Makers lowers itself to Kyle. You are correct. It is time for this particular experiment to come to an end. The Guardians begin tapping into each other's minds, and Palco explains what he has learned. That they made these things long ago, and this is their fault. While there are limits to their power, they need to do whatever they can while the leader is occupied by Kyle and Carol. So Kyle starts making constructs to begin the battle while Carol asks if this is the boss, because normally the biggest one is the boss. The Makers see Kyle's hard-light construct technology, and they realize they need it for themselves. But he notices that it absorbs his constructs due to a very weird-looking object powering the Maker's device. Ping, a mother box. Kyle tells Carol to find the Guardians to get some additional support on this while he rages out, putting all of his red powers to work. Meanwhile, the Guardians have used this distraction to break out of their bonds and head in Carol's direction, while she makes a detour into the Organic Archive to free all of the prisoners. The Makers jump in to continue their battle with Kyle, telling him that it is interesting that he fights, and he tells them that it's interesting that they don't stop talking. Do you not seek perfection? Do you not follow the Maker's path? You have the power within you to reshape the universe, and the drive to do so. In response, Kyle hits the Maker with everything, and then he stops. The Maker is unfazed by the blast and asks, "You have ceased fighting. You can't have given up." With a smile, Kyle tells him, "Nope." Then a blast of Guardian power hits the Maker. Just wanted them to have a chance to get a piece of you. Where is our brother, Kyle? You don't want to see this. Where, Kyle? Then Zala sees him, Quaros, her brother, in pieces. Oh no, 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 no. Not only is he in pain, but he is still alive and conscious. He tells his brethren to get out of the ship. He is interfaced with it in this state, and he can save them all. With tears in her eyes, Zala refuses to leave her brother. We have no option, sister. I do not want to leave you, but we must destroy this place. It will not make right what our brothers did, what the Scions did, but we can save thousands. Kyle stops them. No! You can't kill all these prisoners. We can save everyone, you included. No, Kyle. What the Scions did broke their minds. They only know suffering. Quaros puts a willpower bubble around his brothers, sisters, Kyle, and Carol, and he shoots them out of the ship to save them. Then they watch as the mother box pings and the ship explodes. The shields around them begin to fade, and Zala cries, knowing what this means for Quaros, knowing that he's gone from this world. Kyle is just looking at his friends, the Guardians, and Carol asks him, Are you? I don't know. It's way too soon for us to be finishing each other's sentences. I do know that. I don't know if they're gonna be all right. I can feel what they're feeling. Their despair is like a distant echo. It's deafening. One thing survived the explosion of the ship, though. One thing going ping and sending off a signal. A mother box, a device of the new gods and Darkseid himself. Who do you think it's calling? And that concludes Kyle's journey as a White Lantern, at least for now until we can get to Godhead. Next, before we can move to Godhead and see this resolution, we need to see what was going on with Hal Jordan during this time. So make sure you join us next Tuesday when we continue our tales of the Green Lanterns.